Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Terrence back at it with another video. How you guys doing? Hope everything is fine. Hope your Tuesday has been great. Hope your Wednesday is going even better, right? Because mine certainly could be a lot more better, right? So yeah, I just thought about talking to you guys once again, right? I know I'm on the daily grind, producing videos daily, right? It's not as simple as it seems, thinking about a concept of what to talk about and building a small mini script and then executing that. I don't particularly follow a particular script, but I just make pointers, what I need to talk and what could be better for you guys from the things I learn, right? And as well as I observe, right? The more data and knowledge that we share the more easier it becomes for all of us, right? So you read the title probably by now. What does that even mean, right? Don't be too agreeable, right? That word it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Agreeable. Anyways, uh, what are we going to do, right? Are we going to just agree to everything everyone says? Are we not going to agree to everything that anyone says, or are we going to be in the middle? And what are we going to focus on today? Right? If you see, probably the title, it quite clearly says not be too agreeable, right? It means sometimes you have to be agree, and sometimes you have to agree, and sometimes you have to not agree. Now, how do we define that, right? This is just my observation from my little few years of experience that I have working in the current industry, or it can be any type of industry you take as an example, right? You will see employees, students, lecturers, any office workers, government servants, etc., right? If you look at their personality, right, if you have to categorize them into very simple attributes, right, you will have the agreeable kind and you will have the not agreeable kind, and you'll have somewhere in between the threshold, right? But the maximum will be either here, and very little will be a balance of things. As you guys know in life, and as you follow personal videos, most of the things in your life require a lot of balance, right? Little here and little there, not just towards extremes, right? Now, why is it not okay to be too agreeable? Okay, we're going to talk about this today. This part, not this part, right? Being too agreeable, why is it not so good as being a little not agreeable, right? And also how it can impact you guys as well, right? Let's take an example. Let's say you have a shitty manager and a shitty boss. Just as an example, I'm not saying I have a shitty manager or a boss. I'm not saying you do. I'm just using a hypothetical example. Okay, making that very clear, right? Not taking any names, nothing like that. Just as an example to understand. So let's say you have a shitty manager or assistant manager or team lead, any one of those positions, right? Who you directly report to, right? Anyone that you directly report to is basically shitty. What does that mean? Okay. Now that person may have billions of ideas in his head, right? That he's trying to execute it through you and your team and the team that you're in, right? Now, proper team managers, people who actually manage people, understand that, right? When you, let's say, create a project, right? Or let's say you fetch a project from someone, the first thing, even before you decide to go ahead, right, is first you will introduce your team to the project. You will check the capability process or the capability ability of your team, right? What do they know about it? Because most of the times product managers or team leads, they are not knowing anything about the product. All they know is that let's do this so that we can get better performance. But in real life, that's not how it works, correct? So what am I trying to say? Now let's say you're an employee of that team, or you're a project member of that team, right? In your let's say in your college projects or in your work areas, you're in a team, right? And they introduce you to, let's say, a project, and your direct reporting person, who is either your manager, assistant manager, team lead, whatever, right? SME, whatever it can be, right? Senior developer, junior developer, anything. If that person doesn't bring your ideas to you, but directly says, hey, look, this is the thing we have to do, we've grabbed it from somewhere, this is an opportunity, let's do it. What are you going to do there? Are you going to just bow down and just let's do this, right? I understand if it's like your first project in a year, or your second project in a year, or even let's say your first project in 6 months, that's still fine, right? But what if you have the kind of people who will bring you new things and changes every freaking week or every freaking month, based on their whoopty daisy kind of mentality that they have, right? Whatever like suddenly comes to the brain, put it in the team, right? There you have to work on your negotiating skills. Over there, being not too agreeable is one of the greatest things or the greatest skills that you can have. Trust me on this. It will help you everywhere, especially the kind of uh, people that run most of the industries, right? All they look at is business profit. The human nature thing is like gone away, right? You will see even good companies at the beginning, let's say small companies, right? When they expand, it's more just about profit and it's no longer about the people working there, right? Now that's a whole different topic of whether you should work for that company or no, right? But going back a step, how can you not be too agreeable, right? You cannot be too agreeable. For example, let's say your direct reportee, the person you're reporting to, right, brings you with project A, right? Last week he just bought you 10 projects and now he's bringing you another one, right? Over there, if you agree directly, as an example, that responsibility is on you and you're screwed at the end. So even before that happens, right, in life, before you take responsibility, you assessing the situation, whether it's feasible for you or not, whether you like the project or not, right? If your manager or your reporting person or your TL or your SME or your senior developer, whoever, right, is not worried about your interest levels as to where they lie in the organization that you work for, or the team that you work for, or the sports team that you work for, it's not going to work out, right? So I think so being upfront and not being too agreeable is very important. It's a very fine line of when to say yes and when to say no, right? You will have issues because most of the people they just don't care about your feelings. They just care about the company's profit and stuff like that. So how can we talk about this? I made like 3 points as to why if you're too agreeable, what can happen to you, right? Your negotiating skills will be down the drain because you're just accepting everything. You're just too agreeable. You just accept whatever says. So your negotiating skills in terms of, let's say, a business or a new venture is absolutely zero, right? Zero. The second thing is, like I was saying about those shitty bosses and managers, right? You will never be able to handle people who never take no for an answer. There are people in the world who will never take no for an answer, right? In terms of what they do. Now you being not too agreeable is going to help you in such a way, right? Of handling these kind of people, right? If they don't like it, it's their problem. That's it. You stay firm in terms of your data and what you like. If the company puts your interests or your passion below their profits, then it doesn't make sense, right? So the ability to handle people who never take no for an answer, right? You will get that ability automatically when sometimes you learn to say no to things, right? Actually learning to say no to things is one of the important things that I've learned in my life. It is very important. And I don't mean learning to say no to things like no to watching television as an example, right? That's not that. And what I'm trying to say is to larger things. Let's say someone tells you, hey look, let's do this as a business venture, right? But you come to know that's not feasible, it's running in your mind, you have a pattern, that's why it doesn't work, so you learn to say no, right? It'll help you and it'll help them as well, right? Even though they're not able to foresee it, right? So being not too agreeable, right? Being not too agreeable will help you avoid these kind of people who never take no for an answer, right? But let's say if you are too agreeable, then you're screwed because you will just have to keep doing what they say, even though it does no value to it, right? The third thing I think so, people generally don't think of it in this angle, right? If you are too agreeable, right, your confidence levels are always going to be low because if you're too agreeable, you're saying yes to everything. Now, out of 10 items that they're given you to do, common sense says if there's no plan or contingencies for the topic that they're given you, right? Out of let's say the best case scenario, you execute 5 out of 10, right? The other 5 is going to drain your confidence from the other 5 that you actually did, right? There's a possibility of that. So your confidence levels go down the drain if you always agree to things, if you say yes to everything, right? So if I would tell you, right, so 3 simple things that can happen if you're too agreeable, right? First thing, like I said, is from number 3 to 1, your confidence levels, right? You will never be able. Second thing, you will not be able to handle people who never take no for an answer. And the third thing, like I mentioned, let me just check my script. It's been a long day, right? You won't be able to do larger negotiations. Basically, your negotiation skills will be down the drain. So try it out yourself, guys. Learning to say no sometimes is okay, right? Just figure out, when you have to say no and when you shouldn't. Ideally, when you say no when you don't have passion in that, right, and you don't see a vision in terms of that, or you just feel it's just another thing that they're adding on, right? So hope you guys enjoyed the content. I know it was a little draggy and a little, bookish kind of topic today, but I felt it's very important to be not to be too many twos. It's very important not to be too agreeable in certain situations, right? Please, please feel free to leave your suggestions in the comments, right? Let me know how you're liking the content, and I'm absolutely grateful and thankful for all the support I've received, right? I'll keep doing such videos, right? Basically until I hit my goal. And once again, thank you for all my new subscribers, all the likes, the shares, etc., right? Really means a lot. Until then, guys, I guess I'll catch you all tomorrow. Take care.